What's going on, everyone? Cam Reddish has been fantastic for the Lakers this season. Seriously, I mean, he has impacted these games in so many ways. I mean, beyond the box score. You just look at the box score, you're like, oh, he's like, what is he doing out there, right? 19 games, started 8 of them. He's averaging 20 minutes a game. He's shooting 48.1% from the field on 2.7 attempts. He's shooting 36% from 3 on 1.5 attempts. Right? He is shooting 62.5% from 2-point range on 1.3 attempts. He has an EFG of 57.7%. He's shooting 71%, we'll round up, from the free throw line. He is a career 82, almost 83% free throw shooter, but he's also taken the fewest attempts of his career. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. But he's averaging 2.1 rebounds, an assist, 1.2 steals, half a block, and 4 points. So he's basically giving you 4 and 2 with an assist, 1.5 steals, and half a block. Again, you just look at the surface, you're like, not really doing too much. If you're actually watching the games, and you're actually watching Cam Reddish operate and the way that he's operating, there is no doubt this guy has been great for the Lakers in the role he needs. Now, obviously, I would love if he was even just competent on the offensive side. Like, the problem is he's just, which is odd because he was a pretty decent scorer, right? And it's like all of his confidence has been sapped out. I mean, this is a guy, coming into the league, his first 4 years averaged 10 to 11 points per game. First season, 10.5, 11.2, 10.1, and then 12 before he ended up going to the Knicks. And then even then, right before he came to the Lakers, went and got 11 points. Like, he's the fewest points of his career have been with LA. First year was 5.4, and then this year at 3.8. I don't think it's a coincidence, however. The decline started right when he went to the Knicks. He went from 12 points per game to 6 points, literally cut in half. And his minutes went down 9 minutes, which didn't help, right? His field goal attempts, all of that. I just think a big part of it was just he just got sapped of just the confidence and the effort and stuff. And I don't think that helped at all. But I love seeing what he's been doing. He's had his moments where, he kind of, I saw like a joke, Cam Reddish thinks he's in high school again, right? But look, I've always been a big Cam Reddish guy. I wanted Cam Reddish on the Lakers. He's still only 25 years old. Right? Like, that's not like, obviously 20 years old. It's not like super young, but he's not that old that like he's finished as a player and product. Right? Like, the problem is just the work ethic for him. Right? It's something that, dating back to when he was with Duke, there were questions about his work ethic and how serious does he take basketball and all that stuff. Right? Like, if he could just, I'm not even talking about lights out. I'm talking about, like, he's shooting 36% from 3-point range, right, on the season, 35.7% if you want to be exact. If he could just be, like, a 36% 3-point shooter, but on, like, 5 attempts per game. So, in 2021, 2022, right before he went to the Knicks, right, on 4.5 attempts, he was 38% from 3. And that was when he averaged 12 points per game. If he could just be that version, like that Atlanta version, right before he went to the Knicks, Cam Reddish, do you know how incredible that would be for the Lakers? With the level of defense he's been playing? Right? Like, if he could just be serviceable offensively, serviceable shooting the 3 ball, that would do wonders for this Lakers team. Literally, because, he is impacting the game in a multitude of ways. Again, he's impacting the game in ways that just don't show up on the box score. I've talked about that with Max Christie. I've talked about that with, Christian Coloco is another guy, right? Like, there are certain guys that just do the dirty work, make the hustle plays, right? That do the things. Jared Vanderbilt's another one, right? A guy that just it doesn't show up. Alex Caruso is a guy we had that just like, that guy makes 10 winning plays a game that you won't see on the stat line. Right? And that's what it is with Cam Reddish too, right? Cam Reddish is one of those guys, like, he's so versatile out there too, right? And like his ability to initiate, handle the basketball, right? Like, it's just, again, the lack of shooting is a problem. And it's something he needs to really work on. But again, he's 25. If he can just like spend the next year or two, and by the time he's 27, be just like a serviceable 3-point shooter, right? Like, and you just instill some confidence. He's not going to be more than probably a vet minimum. I mean, unless he really does start. If he does become like a 40% 3-point shooter, then he probably might be a $8 to $10 million guy. But if he just, again, for now, right, like, he's a guy that I would want to keep. Like, depending on what the Lakers do via trade, assuming that they do a trade, you're probably going to need Christian Wood more than anybody, if I'm being honest. Right? Because especially if you're going to trade like Rui and you're going to go get, like legit two-way wings, and, if you get like a Dorian Finney-Smith and, a Bruce Brown and whatever else, right? Like, you're probably going to need Christian Wood as like that power forward, in a pinch can play center type guy. Also his offensive versatility, right? Like, so you're probably keeping up. So Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood, Cam Reddish, if I'm being honest, are probably the most likely vet minimums that you do trade. Unless Christian Wood just, like, is not planning on coming back at all this season, right? The Lakers could end up looking to move that. But I don't, like, long-term wise, it would be hard to want to get rid of Reddish. Again, I'm not saying he's superstar. I'm not saying anything crazy like that. But I'm not ready to give up hope on Cam Reddish. And look, I could end up being completely wrong. He might never improve, right? You can make an argument he's gotten worse every year, right? Like, so it's kind of been the opposite effect. But I also think he just needed a coach and an organization to really, like, believe in him. Right? Like, you saw this begin with Darvin Ham and him starting to play a real role for the Lakers, right? And he was excited to go to the Lakers because they wanted him. Lakers almost traded for Cam Reddish twice and almost had him. And then, like, the Knicks ended up, nixing on the trade, and it just became a mess. But Cam Reddish was a guy that was supposed to be a Laker on several occasions. And so he knew, it's one of the reasons he went to the Lakers, because he knew that the Lakers wanted him. And defensively, he's been so good. He's done his best Jared Vanderbilt impression. He's not as good defensively as Jared Vanderbilt, but he has been great. And just all the things, like, again, it's the stuff that doesn't go noticed. Like him keeping balls alive. Him, creating deflections. Him creating turnovers that, it's just him applying pressure, but he doesn't get the credit for it, right? Like, or him just being able to get the ball out of a guy's hands and slow guys down, right? Like, he's been so versatile for the Lakers and so impactful, and he's had some real key contributing games. And games where, it's like, okay, Cam Reddish, he gets the game ball, right? And unfortunately, some of those games were losing efforts, but it wasn't because of him. It wasn't because he didn't show up. It wasn't because he didn't do what he was supposed to do, right? Like, there's so much question and concern about effort and energy and athleticism and stuff. Cam Reddish is a guy that gives you all of those things, right? And that's important. You need those guys. You need guys like Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is, he's a guy that, like I said, I'm not ready to give up on him yet. He's a guy that I want to see after the season. I would love if the Lakers signed him to like a new 2 or 3 year deal, right? Like, obviously not more than a vet minimum. Don't give him a player option, right? Like, because if you do need to get off of him, right, you can get off of him in a pinch. But I wouldn't mind, right? Like, look, you can do worse as like your 15th guy on the bench. Worst case scenario, Cam Reddish doesn't play, and you just have this 6'7", with like a 7'2" wingspan, hyper athlete that in a pinch can just go and defend anybody, right? Like, you could do worse with a vet minimum contract, right? So I would love, even after this season, if the Lakers, if he's still on the roster, to just like, hey, like we're gonna keep him around, sign him to, a new 3-year deal or whatever as like a vet minimum, whatever, 3 years, $9 million or whatever. Like, perfect. Right? Because again, you can't have too many of these guys, these athletic guys that can defend, getting 1 through 4, play some, give you some level of offense, shoot the basketball, all that stuff. Like, he needs to get with like lethal shooter. So he needs to get with somebody and really work on his 3-point shooting. JJ Redick just needs to like sit with him all offseason and just work on his shooting. Like, whatever you have to do, whatever you can do, you need to get him right offensively. Because, man, he is just like a half decent 3-point shot away from being a problem. Right? The defense is already there. The size, the length, the versatility, the athleticism, the foot speed, everything you want on the defense side is there. It's just that offensive side. And you don't even need, like I said, you don't need him to be elite offensively. Just serviceable. Just enough to not get played off, particularly come playoff time. Because what's going to end up happening, right? Like, that's why you need to address that need, is that, because Cam Reddish, he's going to end up getting played off the court. I mean, we saw Jared Vanderbilt get played off the court, right? And he's better defensively than Cam Reddish is. So it's just, man. But Cam Reddish, I'm telling you, he is like a half decent offensive game away from being a monster threat. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. What do you think, Cam Reddish? Do you think that, yes, he's having an incredible impact? How would you evaluate him thus far? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.